What's going on, everyone? So, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer revival series is in the works with Sarah Michelle Gellar expected to return. So, look, this is something that has been kind of teased and mentioned for some time now. Sarah Michelle Gellar has spoken a lot recently on, a potential Buffy the Vampire Slayer revival. She even recently, and I covered it in a video, she even recently talked about how, if they want her to come back, they believe that she could still, kick butt at her age, then fine. She's more than happy to do that. But her guess was that she would kind of, that they would bring in a new heir to the throne, right? Like, that I definitely could see happening. I'm curious to see, so she's going to be in it, but that doesn't mean she's going to be the Slayer, right? I've talked about this in that same video that I made a little while back. I would love to see Buffy, Buffy Summers be the mentor, right? I would love to see her kind of, you have a new Slayer. I've kind of flip-flop back and forth of would you do a child route where maybe Buffy went on, lived her life, ended up having a daughter or something like that, and then she becomes the Slayer, and now mom's got to try to help. I do think that can make for an interesting dynamic, but regardless, I would love if you had something where she was kind of the mentor, right? You get this new Slayer, maybe Buffy saves her or whatever, and kind of mentors her and trains her and gets her ready to take over and handle business, right? Because I know that they're, the thing is, how much do they tie into the past? Is this going to be a remake, right? Because it's supposed to be a reboot series, but it doesn't mean that they're going to remake the whole thing. And also, are you going to remake it with Sarah Michelle Gellar, but she's, is she not Buffy? Is she somebody else? Right? Does she play a new character? Which, I don't know how fans would like that. So my guess is if you're bringing her back, you're tying her in as she was Buffy, and, now there's a new Slayer, but can that Slayer be Buffy too? Or, do they do some kind of creative thing where, maybe it is focused on Sarah Michelle Gellar's Buffy, but she's more of the mentor side. Maybe Buffy's still kicking butt and doing, taking names and stuff like that. I'm curious to see which direction they're going to go with this, because there is a lot of directions that they can go. But I also know that there is a very large Buffy fan base that are very passionate and very committed to, the story that they built, right? And again, I'm not super immersed into the lore and all these things, right? I've made videos and which is great, because through these videos I've been educated on some of the stuff, right? Which I love to see, right? I love, people were telling me that, every Slayer that ever would be has become now, because, towards the end, which again, certain things, and even things that because I watched the show. I mean, everyone watched the show. If you're say you didn't watch the show, you're pretending, right? Especially if you're watching this video, you watched the show. But, I wasn't an avid Buffy fan. I, watch it in passing or whatever. I'm pretty sure I've seen all the episodes, but it's been so long. There's so many things that I don't remember, or I don't I've said stuff and people have been like, oh yeah, you're right, but also this, right? Things that I do remember. I'm oh, I remember this. And people will be like, yeah, but also then this happened in season 3, episode 4 or whatever. And I think that's cool, right? It shows the passion. It shows how committed people are, how committed fans are to the story and just all of that. And, the problem is, and the concern is, and the reason I even bring this up and mention is because you've seen a lot of shows and movies and stuff where they're trying to bring back the classics. And not everything needs to be touched. Talk about this all the time. Not everything needs to be remade or rebooted or thing. Sometimes it's best to just, if you want to do a Buffy style thing, why not just create a new show? Maybe it has its similarities and stuff, but it's its own thing, right? Or, because you always run the risk of ruining stuff, right? Because all of a sudden, storylines get changed, and it's wait, that's not how that happened. This happened, but they got to change it to make it fit the new narrative or fit the new story, right? And a lot of people are content with the way that the show ended. So now you're going to bring it back up. So how do you explain that? How do you, it's just, you start getting a little convoluted, start getting a little crazy, starts kind of becoming something that it wasn't, right? And, you know, again, Buffy was iconic. I mean, some of those episodes were, you know, were great and well done and scary and really fit the style of what it was supposed to be. I mean, some of those things, some of those episodes and those monsters and creatures and stuff, like, you know, like what's the ones that like, you know, like ate people's, you know, voices or whatever, right? Like those were terrifying to watch, right? Especially as like a kid growing up, like, you know, but that was the beauty of it, right? And, you know, there's things that about it that really, you know, stand the test of time, you know, and look, there's nothing wrong with creating new stories and things like that. I talk about it a lot with the originality or lack thereof, right? It's just like, can we create some new stuff? But look, good writing, good storytelling, good execution, good acting can really solve a lot, right? And it'd be cool. Like, you could bring back a lot of the old characters and stuff, tell a lot of like new storylines, and, you know, kind of get like history on, oh, who's this, who's that, things like that. If I remember correctly, isn't Faith still alive? Isn't Faith still around? So, you know, you could even bring back like Elijah Dushku and, you know, have like a fun episode with that. And, you know, there's just a lot of things that you can kind of branch into this new series, this new show, but it has to be done correctly, right? Like you can, as much as you can, you know, excite a fan base and excite a new story and direction, there's also the potential of you know, infuriating that same fan base and having that fan base not very thrilled and happy. So it's always a very fine line. It's always a very thin line on, you know, these remakes and these stories. Because, again, we've seen a lot of, like, look at things like, not really a series, but like a movie. Look at, like, Exorcist the beginning. That was so bad, so, you know, poorly received that they literally fired everybody. And they have 2 more movies already lined up, ready to come out. Right? It's just like, you know, or like The Strangers, right? Like, people are excited for Chapter 2, but Chapter 1 was essentially just a shot-for-shot remake in a lot of ways of the original. People are like, what is this? And it's like, no, trust us. Like, it's like, okay, so you didn't need the first movie, the second, right? You just, Halloween, right? Like, Halloween 18 was great and really well received, but as you saw, like, Halloween Kills was kind of hit or miss, right? Like, you know, people either love that movie or despise that movie. But Halloween Ends, yes, there's some people that I'm sure like that movie and enjoy it, but the consensus was that was terrible, right? Like, it didn't fit the story, it didn't fit the plot. Like, you spent 2 films establishing this very clear direction and then just went completely left field, right? That's the point is that, like, more often than not, these people ruin these, right? Because it's not their characters, it's not their original story. They're trying to piggyback off of those things, and you're trusting and hoping that they can do so. So, and you know, a lot of that, they lose the essence of what made it successful to begin with. Hopefully that's not the case with Buffy. Hopefully it works out. But, you know, hey, definitely, you know, I said it in the video before, right? If they do end up doing a new remake and, you know, Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it, you best believe I'm going to watch it. Check it out, and, you know, we'll talk about it. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Are you excited for a new Buffy series? Are you not? You kind of mix in the middle. You know, are you glad that Sarah Michelle Gellar's back? What type of role would you want to see? Do you want to see her kind of moving in the mentor role? Do you want her to still want to see her kick butt? It's funny that, you know, Freddie Prinze Jr., her husband, is going to go do a new I Know What You Did Last Summer, and now she's going to do a new Buffy. So, interesting. But, again, however you feel, either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.